Okay, in this video we're going to talk about the nomenclature of thiols and sulfides. So these are common sulfur-containing compounds. So as we know, sulfur appears just under oxygen in the periodic table. And so a thiol, an SH group, is sort of a sulfur analog to an alcohol. Now thiols are characterized by their very unpleasant odor. And when you think about natural gas, you often think about the rotten egg smell. But in fact, natural gas, or methane, doesn't have any odor at all. So that rotten egg smell that we associate with natural gas is actually due to the methane thiol that we add to natural gas so that it's easier to detect when we have gas leaks. Right, another example of thiols is trans-2-butene-1-thiol. This is the major component of skunk spray that gives it its really unpleasant odor. Now, one big difference between sort of sulfur-containing compounds and oxygen-containing compounds, if we think about the hydrosulfide ion, HS-, this is a strong nucleophile, just like OH-, but it's a weak base, unlike OH-, right? OH- is a strong nucleophile and a strong base. HS- is just a strong nucleophile, and so HS- is going to promote SN2 over E2 reactions. Okay, so we said a thiol is essentially the sulfur analog of an alcohol, so the nomenclature of thiols is basically the same as the nomenclature for alcohols, except rather than ending my parent with an OL, as we would in an alcohol, we're going to end it in thiol. And in the case of the alcohols, right, so this compound would be 3-methyl-1-butanol, right? We drop the E when we make it butanol. For the thiols, we keep the E, so this would be 3-methyl-1-butane-thiol. So if we were going to name this compound below, first thing we need to do is find the longest chain. So I think I could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So I'll make one of the ethyl groups part of the parent chain. I'll make the other one a substituent. Just like in alcohols, I want the thiol to have the lowest number possible, so I should start numbering from this end. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And so the name of my compound is going to be, I need to put the ethyl and methyl in alphabetical order. So I'll have 5-ethyl, 2-methyl, 3-heptane thiol. Now, as we're going to start to see, the nomenclature can become somewhat more complicated when I have multiple functional groups. And we'll talk more about this later, but just as sort of a brief introduction, thiols have a lower priority in nomenclature than alcohols. So if I have a compound that has both a thiol and an alcohol, the parent chain is going to be named as an alcohol, and then I have to name the thiol as a substituent, right? And so the name that we give thiols when we name them as substituents is mercapto. So when I name this compound, I'm going to number it 1, 2, 3, 4, so that the alcohol gets the lowest number possible. And then I'll name the methyl group as a substituent, right? It's just a methyl. And then the thiol, I'm going to name it as a mercapto. And I'll put the mercapto in the methyl in alphabetical order. So then this compound would be 3-mercapto, 3-methyl, 1-butanol. Okay, so thiols were essentially the sulfur analog of alcohols. Sulfides are essentially the sulfur analog of ethers. And so the common name for sulfides is very similar to the common name for ethers, right? This would be diethyl ether, right? In the common name for ethers, right, we name each group coming off in alphabetical order. Of course, because this is the same, it would just be diethyl. Well, when we have sulfides, instead of calling an ether, we just call it a sulfide. So this would be diethyl sulfide. Now, be honest, if I ask you to name sulfides, I'll just expect you to know the common names. But I do want to show you the systematic names, so in case you see it, you have some idea of what you're dealing with. Right? In the systematic name of ethers, which we do need to know, this would be a methoxy group. And so this would be 1,1-dichloro 4-methoxy cyclohexane. Well, the systematic names for sulfides are very similar, except rather than our group being a methoxy group, it'll be an alkyl thio group, right? Where the alkyl will tell me how long the alkyl group is that's coming off the sulfur, right? And so because I have 1 here, it'd be a methyl thio group. And so then instead of 1,1-dichloro-4 methoxy cyclohexane, it would be 1,1-dichloro-4 methyl thio cyclohexane. But as I said, I'm not going to ask you to give the systematic names for sulfides, but you should be able to write the common names for sulfides.